Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. It's week 4 in college football, and we are doing a regular weekly call with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. I look forward to this every week, and a lot of our regular viewers do too as well, because Steve is the real deal when it comes to college football handicapping. His long-term record at his website, collegefootballwinning.com, is unbelievable, and Steve, of course, only handicaps college football. That's all he does all year long, including during the offseason, and he does it very, very well. We're going to discuss his opinion on the Cal-Arizona State game coming up this weekend. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. It's getting about that time in the year where you start to give your formula plays, right?
It is getting closer. In the past, the earliest we have given our formula betting recommendations is week 4. Mm-hmm. But the numbers have to come together consistently before we can do that. So we are not giving them out yet this week for week 4. But it's perfect. It's a perfect time for people to join us, because that means they have not missed a single formula betting recommendation for us yet.
Right. So Steve is very, very exacting, which, you have to wait until he's ready to give you a pick. But that's why the picks are actually so phenomenally successful relative to the rest of the market. All right, Steve, the game that we're going to discuss right now for free, Cal and Arizona State. Now, this is an interesting one. This is a game that I did bet on the opening line, on the total. I am actually pretty good with totals. I feel a little bit square having done what I did, but I bet the over. 82.5. I bet the first half over 42. We know what happened, with Cal against with Arizona State against Texas Tech earlier this year, and Arizona State against Texas Tech, and we know what happened when these two teams met last year. It was fireworks offensively. The game went into the 90s. So I'm liking the over here. As far as the side, it kind of went up to 4 or 4.5. Now it's back down to 3.5 or 4. So it feels like there's been some pretty strong two-way action on this game. And based on how these teams have done so far this year, it seems like home field matters a lot, right? Arizona had 2 nice wins and covers at home, and then they went on the road to UTSA and struggled a little bit. And California also got an outright win again over Texas at home as a home dog, but on the road they went much closer to the spread. So maybe for that reason we give a slight edge to Arizona State. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com, what's your take on this game?
I think this is right in your wheelhouse, Peter, because I would like to discuss the total with you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That is rare for me. And as a kind of disclaimer, to be fair to everyone who's watching this, at collegefootballwinning.com, our formula is based on a set or a series of sets of algorithms. We do not yet have similar algorithmic sets for totals. So we have been working on that for years. So we have some great correlations, but we do not have the same kind of algorithmic sets that we have for spreads. So just as a disclaimer, I'm going to present evidence to you, but there is no sort of, no great series of algorithmic sets behind this.
Okay, fair enough. Now I'm starting to get nervous. I hope you're going to say you like the over here, Steve.
I'm starting to get nervous because I think everyone sort of likes the over. So, but here's the evidence, and we can sort of come to a conclusion together that I think we have to come to, but we'll talk about it. Okay.
Yes.
Both teams together so far this season, collectively, the over is 5-1. Just start right there. Okay, for Cal, so far this season through 3 games, they've had no game under 82 points so far this year, and that that quote-unquote low game of just 82 points was versus Hawaii. And as you know, that game was half a world away. It was in Australia. And in that Hawaii game, the Cal defense allowed Hawaii 482 yards of total offense, and they were putting up offensive numbers at the rate of 6.69 yards per offensive play. That's Hawaii's offense. Now, Hawaii has not been able to replicate that any time this season, including when they played Tennessee Martin. Offensive numbers weren't quite that good. It's been since 2014, since that season, that Hawaii was able to put up numbers like that against an FBS team. So we're talking bad defense on Cal's part. Thinking about that, Cal's rushing defense is allowing, so far this season, 6.54 yards per carry. You know who's worse than that, Peter?
No.
No one. No one.
Yeah.
They are the worst.
I was going through the list in my brain. I have them all memorized, and I was like, wait a minute, there's no one on the list worse than that.
You are correct.
Yeah.
No one in the country. They rank 128th in yards per carry allowed. So that's rushing. So lest people think that, oh, this is going to be like a Texas Tech versus Cal type game where they both just pass all the time. That's not Arizona State, so don't be fooled by the gaudy numbers. Arizona State brings the 16th ranked rushing offense in the country. They run the ball. Bad news for the Cal defense. Very bad. Now, Cal, for their offensive part, they bring the number 2 passing offense in the country, very similar to Texas Tech. And they will be facing the worst passing defense in the country in Arizona State. The worst. So you got the worst rushing defense in Cal and the worst passing defense in Arizona State. Not good for keeping this number under the total. Todd Graham in FBS, so Arizona State's head coach, in FBS home games at Arizona State, he has gone over the closing total by an average of 8.8125 points per game at Arizona State since he's been there. Last year, you mentioned this, the score was 46-48. Game was played in Berkeley with 94 points. The total opened last year at 66, closed at 68, and they crushed that, obviously, the closing total even by 26 points. So it wasn't even close. These are basically, in general, we have two top 25 offenses facing 2 bottom 25 defenses. And at the same time, 2 top 25 offenses for the number of long plays they have from the line of scrimmage, defined by plays of at least 20 yards. And they're facing 2 bottom 25 defenses in the same category, allowing those big plays of at least 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. For all FBS, so making this now sort of a general appraisal, for all FBS games whose totals have closed over 80 points, and this one right now is sitting at 82.5. For all FBS games over the last 10 years, totals closed at least 80 points, 60% of them have gone over that total. So obviously that's quite favorable. Now I will give you one of my concerns. I have a couple. One of my concerns here, Peter, is that the line movement went from 81 to 82.5. Now, I know normally you might be thinking, well, that suggests that the over is the correct direction, right? Line movement for totals so far this season in the FBS has been horribly wrong. So that line movement has suggested the wrong side for totals 59.6% of the time so far this season. That should make you nervous when you're facing up against 60%, opposition here. But as of now, right now, Peter, and this is not going out to our clients yet because this will be a game day decision for us as of right now, so it definitely could change before kickoff. But I like over 82.5 because of all the evidence I suggested, but I do have some concerns. So we're going to wait for game day to see where more of the betting data comes in.
All right, Steve. Well, listen, if I'm liking the same bet as you on a spread, on a side, that's a bad sign for you. But on a total, I'm actually pretty handy. So I think you got a winner here. I already gave this one officially to the viewers of SBR, and I bet it myself. Over, currently 82.5 is Steve's recommended play on Cal and Arizona State. I agree with that. I'm also on the first half over on this one. Steve, tell us a little bit about collegefootballwinning.com for anyone who wants to know more.
Thank you, Peter. At collegefootballwinning.com, you said this very eloquently. All we do is college football betting analysis all year round. I think we're the only college football betting analysis service where we specialize, where all we do is college football betting. And we also offer a 100% money back guarantee on the entire season. So if you're not profitable with us on the entire season, you could buy a membership where you get all the money back that you paid us for our service. We have you already said, we are a company based on giving out college football betting recommendations using sets of algorithms. We call those algorithms our formula. And the formula lifetime is 59.89% against the spread. That's almost 500 betting recommendations, huge sample size. Now, this is something I also want to mention. It's slightly embarrassing, but I'm going to mention it anyway because it's about time people knew this. We give out one free weekly pick. So people just come to us for free. They don't have to pay us a thing ever if they don't want to. And once a week during the regular season, we'll give them a free pick. So that's our free weekly pick. That free weekly pick, this is 6 seasons of doing that now during the regular season. So it's more than 70 weeks of doing this. We're 60.56% against the spread in those free weekly picks. Which means it's actually beating our formula 59.89% lifetime average. But of course, fewer betting recommendations.
Right.
But still, come to us at the very least Sign up for the free weekly pick. We're 3-0 so far in the 3 weeks this season. Like I said, 60.56% over 6 years of doing this every week. So come to collegefootballwinning.com. Of course, you want to get more than one betting recommendation a week. So join us for our full service. We'll give you 10% off of any membership that we're currently offering. Just put in coupon code SBR10. That's SBR10.
Sounds great, Steve. Talk to you again next week.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.